Hey guys, good evening everyone and respected sir and also to all the beloved participants. So very good evening everyone and very happy to see you all in the session Python Recall Day 2. So we have completed already the introduction and by basic Python data structure in Python. And today we are going to delve into the core concepts like functions and file handling, which are very important as a Python enthusiast. And also, we all should thank our sir for accepting our request to be the guide and mentor for these 2 days. And actually, this session would really help you all to get good score also in your FAT examinations, like which are very soon, and also it will be revision for you. So, while late, let's start the session. And also, I want to let you know the important thing. Stay till the end, and at last there will be one QR code showing to you. So you can just fill the Google form to get your certificate and to get your attendance, so that you will be getting all your certificates through your email. And also don't worry regarding your like PPTs or any recording sessions, everything will be shared to you through your email. So you don't have any queries, I think so. If you are having any Q&As, just post it in the Q&A box so that on the last sir will answer all your queries. Thank you. You can start now, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. So again, very good evening, everyone. We'll start with our session. Let us first set the agenda that what are the things that we are going to cover. So there are things like if else, which we need to understand that what exactly and how exactly this particular statement if else work. Then there is something called as iterative statements or very much popularly known as loops, and then we'll move to functions. Okay, we'll try to finish these three topics first, and then if we get time, we'll go ahead with file handling as well. Now, again, in the last session, if you guys remember, we have covered the data types or data structure, whatever you call it. We have seen the definition and how exactly the each data type works and what are the specifics or features of each data type, which are ordered, which are unordered, which are intersectional, all these things which we have covered. And in the end, we have seen like what exactly is the thing called as a variable and what are the rules to define the variables. Okay, so these are the topics that we have covered. Now, if you remember, I have shared a list of three things which should be done if you are learning a language. The very first one was data type, which we have covered. The second one was variable and the way to defining it, which we have again covered. And now we are going to enter in the third part called as expression. Okay, so what exactly the expression is? So guys, expression is nothing but it is a combination of operators and values. Now, since every value belongs to a data type, so we have already covered the value part. We need to understand how operator works here. Okay. Now, what are the different operators do we have? Now, in general, if we go in detail, we have 7 different types of operators here in Python. There is something called as arithmetic operator. Okay. Arithmetic operator, which you guys are familiar, like plus, then we have minus, then multiplication, division, right? In Python, there is something called as modulus, which is represented by percent symbol. Then there is something called as floor division, and we also have power. Okay, so these are arithmetic operators, right? We know what 2 plus 2 is. We know what 2 minus 2 is, right? What is 3 into 7 is. Okay, now if I divide 7 by 3, okay, if I divide 7 by 3, we get 2.33333 and so on, right? But what exactly this number is? 2.333. right? Let us understand this first before moving ahead. Let us understand this. So what I did is I have a number 7 and there is a divisor 3. So 3 twos is 6, correct? We get 1 as a remainder. We take point, we can say decimal, and take a 0 over here. Now 3 threes is 9. We again get 1 as a remainder. Again, since we have already taken the decimal, we can increase a 0 here. Then 3, and it keeps on repeating this 3, 3, 3, and we get the remainder as 1 every time. Right? Now, what you are getting using 7 by 3 expression, right? These are two values, 7 and 3 are two values, and this operator, the combination of these operators and values becomes an expression. Okay. Now, what you're getting is called as quotient. Okay. In a mathematical terms, the answer or the result of this expression is known as quotient. Right. And what if I want the remainder? I don't want quotient, I want remainder. At that point of time, you don't have to use slash, instead use your percent symbol called as modulo. That will give you remainder instead of quotient. Okay, so that is the one thing. So let's try it out. So if I do 7 mod 3, that will give me 1, which is a remainder of this division. Again, the division is happening, but we are getting a remainder as result instead of quotient. Now, what is this floor division or double slash? Guys, when it comes to Python, if you can see here, we are performing exact division. Both are the integer number, but the result that we are getting is in the format of float data type. Okay. But what if I'm not interested in float? I'm only interested in the integer part. I don't want this 0.333 something like this. I don't want it. I just need the integer element. Okay. So at that point of time, we can use a floor division. So if I do it 7 floor division 3, it will only give me the integer part. It will eliminate whatever there is after decimal. We are not doing round off, guys. It is different. We are not at all doing round off. It is a different expression. Okay. Doesn't matter what the number is, whether it is 2.3 or 2.9. It will only consider the integer part, which is 2. Okay, so that is the arithmetic operation that we have. Always remember, if you have an expression, so expression will be evaluated. Okay, so expression will be evaluated. Okay, and expression will always be boiled down to a single value. Okay, doesn't matter how big you write the expression. So let's suppose 8 multiply by 3 plus 2 minus 6 divide by 1 or 2. So it doesn't matter how long you write the expression, the result will always be a single value. Okay, the result will always be a single value. The expression always tries to evaluate itself and boil down to a single value. Okay, that is an expression. Okay, now apart from this arithmetic operator, let us cover the next important operator, which is called as sometimes comparison operator or relational operator. Okay, which is nothing but your less than, greater than, less than equals to, greater than equals to, then we have equals to and not equals to. Okay. Now, before moving ahead, before telling you that how exactly it works, let us understand. Let us understand which is what. I mean, taken many batches, more than 120 batches in Python. And the one thing which I have came across is people don't know, or you can say people don't remember that how exactly less than operator looks like and greater than operator looks like. This is the problem which I also used to have in those days when I was studying. So I got a trick to remember, right? So if you see, this is the two operators, right? This is the two operators. Now, which is less than and which is greater than? Always remember the less than operator will look like L. Okay, so this one is the less than operator. And now, if we use this greater than, right? So this is how the greater than operator looks like. If you remember one, that is also fine. If you know how less than operator look, the vice versa is the greater than. Okay, or the opposite sign is the greater than. You can remember in that sense as well. Now, how exactly these helps us, the operators? It helps me to evaluate whether a particular number or a numeric data type is equal, greater, or less than. For example, if I have a quantity like 3 is less than 9. So if the given expression is correct, it will be evaluated as true. I repeat, if the return expression is correct, that 3 is actually less than 9, then it will be evaluated as true. Okay. And if I write 10 is less than 9, and if this is correct, it will be evaluated as true. And if it is not correct, and definitely it is not correct, right? So if it is not correct, it will be evaluated as false, right? So 3 less than 3, definitely 3 is not less than 3, 3 is equals to 3. It will be false. What if I write 3 less than equals to 3? Okay, so although 3 is not less than, but here we have used an equal to sign as well. Okay, which means either it should be less than or it should be equal. Okay, any of the one condition should be satisfied. So although we don't have the quantity less than 3, but the quantity is equal to 3, it will give me a true value. Okay. Similar to that, if we have, let's say, 3 equal 3, again, both quantities are equals. So this will give me true. And if I have to say whether a quantity, let's suppose 2, is not equals to 3. Okay, this is how we write exclamation and equals to. That becomes not equals to. Okay, so definitely 2 is not equals to 3. So this is how it results. Okay. Now, one very basic difference that you need to understand while studying comparison operators, which is equals to versus double equals to. Okay. Now guys, understand this. This is the equal sign that we use for assigning a variable. This is called as assignment operator. Okay. This is an assignment operator. Whereas this particular double equal is your comparison operator. Okay, this is a comparison operator which actually helps us to compare two different quantities. Okay, so single equal is always used to assign a value to a variable. I repeat, single equal sign will always helps us to assign a value to a variable, whereas double equal sign or two equals will help us to compare whether a quantity is actually equal or not. Okay, so this double equal is actual the mathematical equal that we used to study with a single equal sign in mathematics. Okay, right. But here there are two different signs. So as I said, if I have to assign a value to a variable, I'll use single equal. If I have to check whether this x is equals to 3 or not in order to compare the two quantities, I'll use double equal. So definitely x is not equals to 3 as we have assigned the value of x as 30. Correct? So these are the operations that we have. Okay, these are the different operators that we have. Apart from this, there are a bunch of many operators like logical operator, there is assignment operators, there are bitwise operator, there is identity operator, there is membership operator, and lot more. Okay, but these two are the very basic operator which you will get in each and every programming language. Right now, let us use this. So guys, from yesterday itself, we are performing our codes in this particular thing, which has this triple angle, okay, triple angle, and we call it as ideally. Now, one thing that you might have understood by now that we cannot go back or edit the previous line of code, right? I cannot press backspace here, okay? So how to write a program, how to build a program, entire program in the Python language. So in order to do so, if you see here, if you see this corner, right, this tab, there is this file menu. Okay, there is this file menu over here. If you just click over this button, file button, right, you will get something called as new file. Okay, if you see here, there is something called as new file, or you can press Control N. Okay, doesn't matter what you do, it will work. So file, new file, or you can Control N. Okay, in order to get this editor. Now this is your editor. Okay, this is the place where you're going to write the entire program and the output will be displayed over the interpreter. So first, let us save this file. So I'm saving it on a desktop. So I'll say day 2 Python recall. Okay, you can name it anything you like. Okay, so I have just saved the file. Right now let us write a small program in order to understand or in order to cover today's agenda. Okay, now what exactly the program is? I want to write a program to check. Okay, so write a program to check whether the age is greater than 18 or not. So this is a very simple statement. This is a very simple program. We need to have a program which can check, which can accept a age value, and it should check whether the age is greater than 18 or not. And if it is greater than 18, it should say that, let's suppose, greater than 18 or not greater than 18. Okay, a very simple program. But how to do so? Now, before understanding the part called as if else, guys, okay, before I tell you what and how if else work, okay, or you can say if else belongs to an algorithm called as conditional algorithm. Okay, let us also understand what is something called as sequential algorithm. Okay, so in sequential algorithm, what we do, we write our code in a sequence. So what are the codes that we need to write? So in step 1, okay, so step 1, we need to create a variable wherein I can give a value for age. Okay. So let's say I'll give 10, right? Let's say I'll give 10. Then step 2, I need to have an expression, okay, which will check, right? Which will check whether the age is greater than 18 or not. So what I do is I'll write an expression here, age greater than 18. And if the age is greater than 18, it should print something. So I'll just write print age is greater than 18. Step 3, if the age is not greater than 18, it should print age not equals to, or you can say there is no symbol such as not greater. So I'll just say print age not greater than 18. Now, what if I run this? So what if I run this? So I saved the file again. Okay, I've saved the file again. And if I just click on this button, run over here and run module. So this is what it gives me. Age is greater than 18 and age is not greater than 18. Now what to trust and what to not. What exactly this is happening? So guys, this is an example of sequential algorithm wherein each and every line of the code will be executed. If you have written 10 lines of code, it will be executed line by line. If you have written 20 line of code or 100 line of code or 1000 line of code, it will be it will be executed one by one. That is called as sequential algorithm. Okay. Now the thing that we need over here, we need to check whether this age is greater than 18 or not. And what is happening here? So we have a number 10 inside age variable. We have returned the expression as well. So what is exactly happening here? Okay. And we all know that this expression will be evaluated as false. So what next? Okay. What next? So first age will be 10, then expression will be executed and it will become false. Then it will print age is greater than 18 and it will print age is not greater than 18 as well. But this is not what we wanted. We wanted a program. Okay. We wanted a program to check whether a particular age is greater than 18 or not. And this is not doing or fulfilling my program. Why? Why? So if I just write it over here on my paint, just a minute. If I just write it over here on my paint, just copy this. Okay. If I do this here. So as I said, again, this is getting executed. The current age value is 10. Okay. Then your compiler, your Python is actually checking whether this equation is true or not. Or you can say, in other words, as I said, expression always boils down to a single value. So what is inside the age variable? 10. Then greater than 18. Is it true? No, this is not true. This will give me false. Okay. So basically, the moral of the story is your expression is giving you the result, but there is no keyword. There is nothing to check whether what is the output or what is the result of your expression. Okay, so we need to have something there who will check whether the condition or whether the expression is actually evaluated true or not. Okay, so in order to do so, we write something called as if. Okay. Now what if will do? If will check if the condition is true or not. And if it is true, it will be executed, or it will execute the indented block of code written in the body of if statement. And if it is false, then we can have something called as else statement. Okay. Else statement, which will work on the false outcome of your expression. Okay. So now if I run this, age is not greater than 18. Let us check if I write 100, age is greater than 18. Now, how exactly this is working? Let us understand this. So, what we have done over here is, just a minute. I guess there's no blank space. I should save this. Okay. So what we have done over here is, your program is getting started. Your program is getting executed here. Okay. The program is getting executed. Then you have a variable. So the variable is called as age variable. And a particular value is assigned to that particular variable. So let's suppose the value is 10. Okay. Then you have returned an expression. Okay. Something like this, where age is greater than 18. Okay. Where age is greater than 18. If the statement is evaluated as true, okay. If the statement is evaluated as true, we just need to write age is greater than 18. And if the statement is evaluated as false, okay, we need to write age is not greater than 18. Age is not greater than 18. So this is what is happening, guys. This is what is happening. And then once each of these statement is executed, the program will finally end. Okay. So we all know that not always, or you can say never, both of the statement will be executed. If the expression is evaluated as true, this statement 1 will be executed. If the expression is evaluated as false, statement 2 will be executed. Right. So there is only one statement which will be displayed on your screen. Either if it is true, age is greater than 18. If it is not true, age is not greater than 18. Okay. So if you see here, if you see this code, age is greater than 18 is been working on this condition if it is true. Okay. But for else keyword, you have not mentioned or you have not written any conditions here. So how exactly this is working? So else is working on the false outcome of your condition. If the condition is false, by default, else is getting executed. If it is true, then print statement will be executed. Okay, so this is what is happening when we use if and else. If and else is a very simplest and easiest flow control statement. Okay, it works on a condition. If it is true, statement 1 will be executed. If the condition is not true, or if the condition is false, the else part will be executed, or whatever code you have written in the else block will be executed. Okay, now here you need to note certain things, guys. I'll just highlight this. make sure that you make sure that you have a proper space between your condition and if. Make sure that you have a colon to specify the body of the if. Okay. And once your statement is finished, make sure to go back to write else from the back side. Now this space before print over here at this point is called as indentation. Indentation helps us to define the body of the program or the body of the block. Okay, so currently the print statement, this print statement which says age is greater than 18, this print statement is been written inside if block. It is written inside the body of the if statement. And this particular print statement is written inside else block or the body of else. How do we define the body? We define the body using a indentation. Okay. Now, how do you get the indentation? If you use this colon, you will automatically get the indentation. Okay. If you use this colon, it actually helps us to define the structure, to define the body of your statements. Okay. So these are the things that you need to understand. Okay. So you can try this code out and let me know if you are done. You have 2 minutes. Please see and write. Check the indentation, proper spacing. If and else should be properly aligned above and below. The indentation is properly, defined using the colon. And there should be a space between if and your variable age while defining the condition. Is it done? Let me know if you're finished. Shall we move ahead? Hello. Admin. Okay, so now once we have created this, okay, now what exactly this is? So this is nothing but a particular program which will check whether you are eligible to vote or not, right? So let me just change the statements. Okay, so if the age is greater than 18, the person is eligible to vote. Okay, and if the age is not greater than 18, the person is not eligible to vote. So this is my program. Okay, this was my program. Now, if you see here, guys, there is one variable here, then there is an expression, there is a print statement, there is a else keyword, and again there is a print statement over here. Okay, there is almost 5 lines of code. Okay, and every time I run this, this will be getting called. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's suppose I am writing a new program. I'll I'll have two variable x is equals to 10, y is equals to 20, and I just want to print this x plus y. Okay, so I don't want this to be run. Okay, I don't want this age or voting program to be run. I just want this to be run. But the moment I run this file, everything what is written inside the file will be getting run. Okay, so what is the solution? Okay. The solution is to wrap the program with a name. Okay, I repeat, the solution is to wrap the program or to tie it together with a name, so that whenever I call the name, only then the program should get executed. Okay, so that whenever I call the name, only then the program should be get executed, not before, not after. Okay, we need to tie this code of set of instructions. What are these? This is one set of instruction and this is the next set of instruction. We need to bind them together. We need to tie them together with a name, and that concept is called as function. Okay, that concept is called as function. So what exactly a function is? Okay, what exactly a function is? So function is nothing but an organized set of instructions return to perform a specific task. Okay? An organized set of instructions return to perform a specific task. What the specific task I'm talking about, that depends on the motive of the program that you are creating. So currently, if you see this particular code, the specific task is to check whether the person is eligible or not. And here the task is to find out the sum of the given numbers. Okay, that is the task. Okay, now how to create the function? In order to create a function, you need to have something called as def keyword, which is called as define a function, def, then space followed by name of the program, or sorry, name of the function. So what name you want to give, right? What specific name you want to give to this particular program? So I want to call it as voting program. So voting prog. Okay. Then whether you want to have some input or not, but definitely age should be the input here. So I'll just specify the age. I'll remove this age from here. So now the user will be able to put the age over here. Okay, the variable will be accessed here. Okay, now what next? Guys, always remember, if you see here, if I just put the colon and if I hit enter, the body is getting created. As I said, the colon is used to create the body, but the if and else is not inside the body. Okay, the if statement and else statement is not inside the body. So what to do? Either you can use tab button to align it in a proper structure, or else you can use a shortcut. What shortcut? So currently, if you see, my cursor is blinking over there within the body of the function. Okay, my cursor is blinking over there within the, or you can say inside the body of my function. What I will do is I'll just select from that particular point. I just select each and every code that I want to bring inside my function. Now I have selected it. If you just go in format and then click on indent region, the code will be indented. Now the if and else is inside the function. Okay. In the similar fashion, if I just want to create another function for addition, I can create it. So def, define a function. I call it as add. I'll take two inputs, x and y. and then create a body and we'll just, or either you can print or you can return x plus y. Okay. So now if I run this, you can see unless and until I call it, it will not give me any output. Okay. So let's call it. How to call a function. Now this is the way to define a function. Now we have defined our function over here. So I just write defining the functions. Okay. So we have defined the function over here. Now we are going to call it. So how to call a function? Calling a function. Okay. Calling a function. Now how to do that? Now in order to call this function, okay, in order to call this function, you just need to write the name of the function. So voting prog is the name of the function. Now do not hit enter or else you will get the object. If I do or hit the enter, this is what I will get, the memory location where the function is getting saved. Okay, this is the memory location where the function is getting saved, right? So this name is giving me that, but we have not called it yet. So how to call it? Okay, in order to call it, as I said, only name is not necessary. You have to provide the round brackets. Okay, you have to provide the round bracket, and since you have used an parameter, your argument here, age, you have to give an argument, or you can say an input over there. So let's suppose I'll give it as 10. So if I just run this, this will give me an output. Again, if I just write voting prog and provide an output, let's suppose 20, you're not eligible, you're eligible. Similarly, if I call my add function and provide two numbers, this will add and give me comma 5. So this is how the function is created. Okay, this is how the function is created. Is that clear to everyone? Please try it yourself and let me know once you are done. Is it done? Hello. Okay. So let's cover the last topic, which is loop or iterative statements. Now again, there is a question that we have to print, write a program to print 1 to 5. Okay, so I want to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how to do this? Let's suppose not 5. So how to print 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 or 1 to any number? How exactly we do it? Right. So again, let's first take the reference of sequential algorithm. Then I'll tell you how to do it efficiently and effectively using your loop. Okay, so I'll just keep everything aside. I'll just remove all this. Okay, now if I have a sequential algorithm, so what to do? So there is a number which is 1. I have to print that number, right? Which will give me definitely in result 1. Then what I have to do is I have to increment or increase the value of that number by 1. Again, I have to print it. Right. Again, I have to print it. Whatever the value is. Now that will give me 2. Right. And again, I have to increase the value by 1. Whatever the value is, I have to increase it by 1. And again, I'll have to print it. Right. So likewise, I have to do it 1 by 1. This is called sequential algorithm. Okay, so if I run this, you will get your result 1, 2, 3. But guys, we need to understand this. This is only 3 numbers or 5 numbers. What if I have to print 1 to 100? So do I have to write 100 line of code? Basically, these 2 lines are getting repeated. That makes it 200. In order to print 100 numbers, you have to write 200 lines. That is not good, right? That is not right. Correct. So what we do is we have introduced something called as iterative algorithm or loops. Okay, where the main function, okay, the main agenda, the main goal of the loop is to execute a statement. Okay, execute a statement n number of times. N number of times. Okay. In order to execute a statement n number of times, we use something called as loops. Now, how to define that? Okay, how to define that? So guys, if I take the reference of this, so we should have loop here. Okay, so this is just a comment just to separate whether this is the sequential algorithm. Now below this line, I will write the loop. Okay, but before that, I should tell you that the loop has something called as starting point. Okay, the loop has something called as starting point. there should be a condition. What kind of condition? Condition to end the loop. Okay, condition to end the loop, and it should have increment or decrement operator with it. Okay, so let's give it a starting point. So I want to start my loop or number from 1. Okay, now the keyword that we are going to use in order to loop is called as while. Okay, while will make sure that the loop should continue runs. Until when? Until the given condition is true. While will make sure the loop should run. Okay, so what should be the condition? Now, what condition I'm talking about? The condition is to end the particular loop. Okay. The condition is to end the particular loop. So unless and until the value of n is less than equals to 5, you should keep on running these lines of code. Which line of code? Print the value of n, and we have to increment it. N is equals to n plus 1. The same two lines which we are writing here. And at this moment, we have written just once. So this is your starting point, guys. Okay, this is your starting point. So from 1, the loop will begin. This is the condition or end point. And this is your increment operation. Increment. Okay, in order to execute the loop continuously. If you will not write increment or decrement, you will end up getting an infinite loop. Okay, so if I run this now, then let me just erase this. If I just run this now, as you can see here, you're getting 5 numbers. Now, if we just increase the value here, so let me take 10 numbers. Okay, so n should, unless and until n is less than 100, less than equals to 100, these two statements will keep on executing. It will print the value of n, it will increase it. It will print the value of n, it will increase it. Again, it will print the value of n, it will increase it. Okay, so if I just run this, so as you can see here, you get 100 numbers within just a second. So this is how loop is written. Now, how exactly it is working, guys? How exactly it is working? So again, let me show you this. Okay, let's suppose your program is starting here. Okay, your program is starting here. You have a variable to assign. Then you have got a condition. Okay, then you have got a condition. Okay, followed by a statement. If it is true, the statement will be executed. Okay, then we have increment. And then lastly, we have end part. Okay, so let's fill this. So this is where the program starts. This is your n is equals to 1. Okay, this is n less than equals to 100. Then we have, if it is true, then it will print the value of n. If it is true, then it will print the value of n and it will increase the value of n. Okay, and how does it works? If it is false, it will end the program. So how does it works? It works like this. So program will start. It will declare a variable n is equals to 1. Then we have a condition. If the condition is true, okay, if the condition is true, okay, this is what will happen. It will print n, and after that, it will increase it. Okay. Then what happens? Once the body of the loop is finished, guys, please pay attention here now. Once the body of the loop is finished, it goes back to check the condition whether what the condition is true or not now. right? So what I mean is initially the value of n is 1, correct? The expression that you have written is definitely 2. 1 is less than equals to 100, correct? Then it will print obviously 1. It will print obviously 1. Just a minute. Okay. It will print obviously 1. Then what happening here? You are incrementing it. So after printing 1, now the value of n becomes 2. Okay. Now the value of n becomes 2. Now it will go back and re-evaluate the statement. Okay. Now it will go back and re-evaluate the statement whether now when the value of n is increased, okay, when the value of n is changed, now whether it is less than 100 or not. Okay. It will check whether now it is less than 100 or not. And since 2 is again 2 is also less than equals to 100, the condition becomes true. So it will keep on iterating here itself unless and until the n becomes 101 or 101. It will keep on looping here. Are you getting the point? It will keep on looping in this particular region. Okay, unless and until the value of n becomes 101. So once the value of n becomes 101, the condition becomes false. Okay. And if the condition is false, the program will end. So this is for false statement. Okay. This is for false statement. So this is what is happening inside your loop. Okay. There is one feature of the loop that loop always try to re-evaluate the statement. Okay. Loop always try to re-evaluate the statement. It will always check whether the given condition is true or not, whether the given condition is now true and true or not after every changing the value of n. Okay. So this is how your loop works. Okay. It always try to re-evaluate the given condition. Okay, so what is happening basically, once your increment is done, now the value becomes 2. It will go back over here and it will check it again. 2 is less than 100 or not. Since 2 is again less than 100, it will print it again. It will increment it again. Now the value becomes 3. It will again reevaluate the condition. Whether 3 is less than 100 or not. 3 is also less than 100. It will print the value of n. It will increment it again. Now the n becomes 4. Right, now the n becomes 4. It will again reevaluate the condition. Okay, now let's suppose the value of n becomes 100 and 100 is got printed over here. Right, 100 is got printed over here. So what happens? The value will be incremented by 1, becomes 101. It will again check whether 101 is less than 100 or not. So definitely 101 is not less than 100. The condition becomes false and nothing will be printed. Okay, so this is how iterative statement or loop works, guys. You can try it yourself and let me know.
Thank you, Mrityunjay sir, for this awesome event of Python Basics. I request everybody to please stay for 2 minutes. I'll show you the scanner and you can scan and leave the meeting.
All right, guys, thank you so much for attending this session. We'll meet maybe in future for further interesting sessions in data science and analytics. Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Guys, you can scan this QR and give your attendance.
Chandra,
Hello?
can we end the session?
Yeah, we can end the session.
Okay, I'm ending the live.
Yes.